Hi, hello, and welcome to the video. My first video, to be exact. So please excuse me if things seem a little off, a little wonky. Your boy is kinda nervous, but you know what? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bit excited too. So my birthday was a couple of days ago, and I would like to thank everybody who wished me well. You all are truly appreciated, and I love every single one of y'all to death and life, if that even makes sense. So with that being said, my own personal gift that I would like to give myself this year is the gift of sobriety for the next month at least. Sober October, I learned from my guitarist. Yes, I'm in a band. We're called Bad Astronauts. Please check us out. We're pretty neat. I learned from him that it is, well, what else? Where you go sober for the entire month of October. Now, to me, sobriety means cutting out 4 specific vices. Number 1, cigarettes. Just smoking them, obviously. I'm not fucking eating them, but it kind of speaks for itself. Cigarettes are bad, just kind of stop doing it. Alcohol. My alcohol intake has increased immensely to an uncomfortable level. I can throw down a 4 Loko on an empty stomach and kind of get a buzz. I don't want to do that anymore, so it's gonna go. Number 3, weed. Now I know what you're saying, you can't get addicted to weed. I kind of disagree with that statement. It's not as bad as cigarettes or alcohol or, a lot of these other vices, but you get an itch. But more importantly for me, it's just kind of the way that I would obtain weed, marijuana, ganja, whatever you want to call it. I'm talking shit about, getting gas money and only spending, $5 so I can go get a G. Scraping resin bowls, just really doing some not healthy shit just to try to get a high. And my logic is, if you can't smoke weed the way that you want to in a comfortable setting, there's no point in smoking it. It's kind of a waste at that point. You're just trying to be comfortable. I'm not comfortable with it right now, so it's gotta go. And number 4, but certainly not fucking least, is Dr. Pepper. Soda, really, in all forms and fashion, but Dr. Pepper, the main offender, no doubt. To put it in perspective, I can throw down 2 liters, that's 4 liters, in a day. I can put away 3 12-packs of Dr. Pepper in a week, and probably less. Now, there might be a small percentage of y'all out there who hear that number and just like, big fucking deal, who cares? But I'm telling you, dudes, I'm telling you, the shit's not healthy. At least that kind of intake, that much, is just not healthy. At least not for me. My body is barely hanging on. It can barely take it. So that leads me into my next point, my body. You might be asking yourself, hey, are you only doing this because it's a catchy month title and it rhymes? And to that I say, a little bit. But more importantly, it's because of the overall health of my body and my mind. And all of these vices affect it in a negative way in some form or fashion. How exactly? Well, to get the answer to that question, let me tell you a little story about myself. Sit down. We're going to go back to 2018. I hope it was a good year for you. So, in the summer of 2018, I was a considerably healthy individual. I was running about 2 miles every day, averaging about 60 to 100 push-ups every other day. So while I wasn't exactly light, I wasn't exactly obese. I guess I was fat, but your boy had some bulk to him, It was a nice balance. I'm a Libra. I'm all about the balance. What's ironic is that I started to drink Diet Dr. Pepper instead of regular Dr. Pepper. Now, the events that are going to be following after this statement, I am not saying they are correlated to Diet Dr. Pepper. It's just kind of ironic how this all started to happen because I wanted to live a healthier life. So after I made that vow to myself, I was going to start living a healthier lifestyle around the start of June of 2018. I start to have some stomach pains. Now, stomach pains aren't too unusual. It's just sometimes that happens, and within the next couple of days, it kind of resolves itself out. At least for me, that's just kind of what I was used to. Well, a couple of days turned into 3 days, and not only was I having stomach pains, but it was getting pretty hard to shit. Not gonna lie, pretty hard. Whenever I would have some bowel movements, it'd be minimum to none, and I would just constantly have that abdominal pain right here. A lot of y'all probably already know where I'm going with this. But I was having those pains, and the fucking toxic man that I am, that was a bar, just said, you know what, just deal with it. It will be gone within the week. You're strong. Your body's not failing you. You're fine. Well, it didn't. It stayed for another week. That week turned into 2, and at this point, I am getting pretty nervous, pretty scared. And I go to my mom, and first off, MVP of this whole thing, my mom. I would not be alive if it weren't for her. She'll tell you the severity of things to come. Well, I go to her and I tell her about my problems, and she's trying to do everything she can, but I don't have insurance. I don't have health insurance, so I am trying to avoid a hospital trip at all costs. I'm already in debt. I don't need any more debt. So, we brainstorm, we try to get some laxatives, whatever it really took, try to eat some more fiber, try to get things, working down there. And it just wasn't the case. I was still in constant pain, and it was getting worse. It was like my guts were being stretched on a daily basis, and then it would go back to normal, and it would get stretched again. This was some pretty bad pain, y'all. Well, it's pushing on a month, and I still haven't had a solid bowel movement. So I'm just like, whatever, we're going to the hospital. Just kind of have to. So when I get to the hospital, they eventually take an x-ray of my stomach, and they're just like, hey, you're full of shit. I'm just like, hey, I know. So they diagnosed me with severe constipation, and the thing that made me mad about that the most was I already knew that. I already knew that I was severely constipated, but you know what? I kind of just went to the doctor just to see if they can give me some antibiotics, some stronger laxatives. You want to go to a good plug, go to the hospital, go to the pharmacy. They got the good shit over there. I was really hoping that what they gave me would flush this shit out completely, and it's a done deal. Well, the medicine that they gave me didn't really do that. It kind of took away some of the pain, sure, but it didn't flush anything out, and I am still having these pains. At first, it kind of diminished the pain just a little bit, but after a while, it came back, and with a force. There was one particular day that I remember just waking up in pain, and I fell right to the floor and just started crying out in pain. It hurt so fucking bad. I was taking 8 to 12 ibuprofen a day because that was the only thing that even put a dent in it. It was some pretty rough times, I'm not gonna lie. So after almost 2 months, me and my mom, we go back to the hospital because obviously things weren't fixed. And it was at this point that they finally gave me a CAT scan of my stomach. And this is where shit starts to get a little nasty. So what ended up being discovered, and to this day, doctors and myself, we don't know how this happened, but a slit happened in my small intestine. Something got in there and just tore it open. And so that caused a leakage, and that caused the backage up. That part I get. However, somehow within that damage, and probably because it took me so long to brain the fuck up and go to the hospital, because of the damage, somehow my small intestines infused into my colon. Or with my colon. I forget the verbiage of it all, but you're kind of getting the fucked up Lego pieces I'm connecting here. So I'm just like, wow, that sounds bad. How can we fix it? I kind of knew that I was going to have surgery, but I didn't want it. I did not, call me Jon Snow, man, I did not want that shit at all. I've never had major surgery like that. I don't think I've ever had surgery in any capacity. So if I could avoid it, I would. But they told me that this was an emergency situation and the only thing that was going to save my life was surgery. Because keep in mind, this was becoming like sepsis or whatever it's called. Whenever you're basically your body is decaying from the inside out. I was getting to that level. Middle of July in Texas, I'm freezing my ass off on a daily basis. That's not good. So I'm gonna have to have this surgery, or else I'm going to die. And it's informed on me that this isn't gonna be just a surgery where they open me up and take everything out and I'm back to normal. No, what this operation was called, technically, was a ostomy operation. I'm about to get into some pretty medical shit right here. The surgery that I had to have was a ostomy operation. And basically what that means is that I was now going to have to wear a colostomy bag for the next 6 months. Those who don't know what a colostomy bag is, I'm about to put it very bluntly. It's a bag that you shit in from your stomach. So yeah, that is where I would shit. What you would do is that you place this couple of gadgets that you can do, but all in all is that you place a bag right here and it catches your excrement. It catches your shit. You empty it out, clean the bag, sometimes just get a new one, and that's how I was going to have to live my life, at least for the next 6 months. So I was told. It was hard. It was very hard to live with that. That's exactly why I say my mom was the MVP. Thank you to my entire family for having to deal with me in that situation. I did not have a lot of good days. You know, you're young and you feel like you were on the cusp of being healthy for the first time in a long time, and then this just derails everything. Minus the whole just bag itself. The bag is another problem entirely. But just the fact that, you know, I almost died when I thought I was my most healthiest is a real ego killer. A real confidence killer too. So thank you to my mom, thank you to my family for helping me not only deal with it, but helping me, you know, with the cleaning, with finding bags, because it's hard. And if you know anybody who is in a similar situation or the exact same situation, just give them some love because they need it. It's hard. The original plan was to have it for 6 months. Thankfully, just 6 months. I had it on my calendar. I was like, all right, I'm about to be ready for Super Bowl Sunday by the time this bitch gets off me. And that wasn't the case. I managed to get it off of me in 4 months. 2 months earlier, obviously, than what was planned. And I was a little nervous going under again because it had been so soon. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's not like I changed my diet up too drastically. I was still drinking soda and eating fast food, you know, with just more water at this point. So I got to tell you, having a up close and personal shot of what your stomach does to the bad shit you're eating and really what it does to you kind of made me open my eyes and just realize that this is some pretty nasty shit that I'm putting in myself, and I got to stop. Because when you have that procedure, when you have a colostomy bag, when you have an ostomy, you don't get to control how it works. For a fart, for bowel movements, it happens. It's not like, it's weird how the ass can just kind of wait, how you can just, you know, hold stuff in. When you have the operation, nah, if it's coming, it's fucking going. And it can be a pretty gruesome scene sometimes. You know, after that operation happened, the second one, I was probably about 178 pounds when everything was all said and done, and I was kind of getting back to normal. I can kind of, you know, go run again, maybe do some push-ups, very limited stuff. But by that time, I was about 178 pounds. The lightest I have ever been in my adult life, by far, not even close. And you would think that with this newfound weight, with this newfound image with myself, that I would take care of things and make sure that I didn't fall into the same situation as I did before. And for the first couple months, kind of like a New Year's resolution, yeah, I was on top of things. I was, you know, I wasn't drinking as much soda. Wasn't smoking cigarettes at all. I was still smoking weed, but like I said before, weed's not really the main problem. Is not weed, weed. Weed. I was being relatively healthy, but after a while, you start to you get a car, you get a job. I got into a relationship at the time, and just I got lazy. No easy way to put it. I was already putting in, all my energy at work. Why should I spend more time to just work on myself? I earned it. A very entitled way of going about things. I earned this Dr. Pepper. I earned this fucking Baconator. And the fact of the matter is, it didn't matter how much I earned. It mattered what I needed to be healthy. And the stuff that I was eating were not healthy. But more negatively, that train of thought just kept on going. It never stopped. So it's around the middle of December at this point in 2019, and nothing really major has happened. I've had a few stomach pains instances, but with a procedure like that, it's kind of par for the course. But other than that, nothing major. Now, this didn't start happening until about 3 days before I was doing a concert with my band, Bad Astronauts. Check us out. We're pretty neat. And that's when I noticed that I was having some similar symptoms that I was having before the first surgery. So I was getting a little scared. My stomach pains were kind of happening. I was kind of getting some cramps in there. Not nearly as bad, but I knew where this pain was going. Whenever that happens to you, you lose a huge amount of your appetite. You don't want to eat at all because your instinct is just fear. You fear that it's just going to back up everything. So I was having these symptoms again. Unfortunately, if I went to the hospital, I was going to have to miss the show because I didn't know how long I was going to be in there. So I soldiered through. I did the show. It was not my most favorite show. It was not my most favorite show at all. After the show, I immediately go to the hospital, and they said, "Good on you. You caught this just in time. Just in time, and had I dwelled anymore, probably would have had the bag back on. But thankfully, I caught it in time. And they gave me some antibiotics, and off I was." You would think that after everything I've been through, the bag, fucking being skinny, getting fat again, almost having the bag put on me again, you would think that I would finally learn my lesson, but I just didn't. I took it for granted. If anything, I sped up my intake. Now I'm just eating fast food every day. I'm drinking soda every day. It's like every day but more. Cigarettes, whenever you get a job, for those who smoke and are trying not to smoke, best advice I can give y'all is don't get a job. Don't get a fucking job, at least for my sake, because jobs just make me want to smoke. It's just that simple. They make me want to smoke. Not really the jobs, just the customers. No, I'm kidding. It's funny that I mentioned all these things, how bad I take life for granted, and just how much I ignore these unhealthy habits that I have. But this was the final straw. This is what made me just think, you gotta do better. You gotta make some changes, buddy, or else you're going to die, and at worst, you're gonna have a very unpleasant living situation for the rest of your life. And to me, that's worse than death, because at least death is finite. So this was the final straw. After everything that I've been through, after how much I took in my own health for granted, this was the final straw. I had a dream. A nightmare, actually. A nightmare. And I've had a similar nightmare like this before, but nothing nearly as vivid as this. So I was just kind of hanging out with my family one day. Friends and family, just kind of one of those weird dreams. You're just hanging out with the people that you like. And all of a sudden, I start feeling these pains in my stomach. I'm just like, oh no, it's happening. Because whenever you have the bag on, you know when you're about to have a bowel movement. Like I said before, you can't control it, so therefore you're definitely more programmed to know, oh my god, I need to go somewhere, or I need to be prepared for this. So I was having that same type of movement, however, the bag was not on me. This is current me. However, what ended up happening was it's as if my wound exploded out like a fucking fire hydrant, and just excrement and waste just falling out. And somehow, this tore the entire front half layer, or front semi-layer of my stomach. You know how I can do this with my shirt and kind of flop it around? I could do that with my stomach. And what I did was, in the dream, I rolled up the skin of my stomach and saw everything. I cried. I bawled my fucking eyes out. In the dream, I didn't wake up crying, but when I did wake up, I kind of realized I don't want that. I don't want that in any capacity at all. Not again. It was such a hard thing to get past that I don't know why it took me this long to realize, hey, get your shit together or else you're gonna lose it. And that is basically why I am trying to go sober, or why I am trying Sober October. Now, I don't expect myself to never participate in any of these vices again. This is mainly just to set the foundation of moderation that I never really had in my life before. And because I don't think that I want to, I know I don't want to live a life where I don't, partake in these things because they can be fun. My problem is I have no self-discipline and I need to learn how to, I don't know, develop kind of self. Can you develop self-discipline? I guess we're going to find out. Because for the next month, each one of those vices, cigarettes, alcohol, weed, and Dr. Pepper, I'm not touching. I'm not touching in any form for the next month. The big two are alcohol and cigarettes. Hopefully I can just eliminate those entirely. Mainly cigarettes, if I'm at a party, and I'm still young and I'm relatively healthy, I'll partake, but drinking, like coming home with a 12-pack of Budweiser or a 12-pack of anything and drinking that by yourself, no, I don't need to keep on doing that shit. I'm probably never going to quit weed unless, my life depended on it, but that's just me. However, that on that front, it's kind of more of a challenge just to see if I can do it. And I don't know, for my non-experienced smokers out there, if you smoke a lot and build up a tolerance and then you just stop smoking for a month, let's say, at least, that next time, boy howdy. And the Dr. Pepper thing, I know I'm going to be drinking Dr. Pepper again at some point. It's just, it's I love it. I love it too much. But like I said before, this is all to set the foundation of moderation. It's okay to have these things in moderation. Too much of a good thing is always bad, and too much of a bad thing is never good. That's kind of how I live my life for a while, or at least that's how I wanted to live my life. Obviously, I didn't live my life, otherwise I wouldn't be in this situation. But that is what is extremely exciting about this situation, because for the entire month of October, you're going to be seeing a lot of me, because for every 5 days, I am going to be recording my experience, because I kind of need to. I kind of need to take my mind off of things, and I want to show each and every one of y'all firsthand how hard this is. Just the kind of, the mental mind games you're going to be playing with yourself. You're going to see me here in about a week just be like, guys, I can't fucking do it. This is hard. Don't be surprised if you see that. Maybe it's going to go well. Maybe it's going to go well. Who knows? Maybe I'll be here in 2 weeks and you may have never seen me again because I was just like, guys, I can't do it. I'm out. See ya. But obviously, that's not my intentions. I don't plan on doing that. I plan on seeing this all the way through. And I appreciate every single one of y'all who is going to be along for the ride, because I know I'm not the only one dealing with these addiction issues. For this next month, I'm going to pick up running again. I could jog like a motherfucker. It may not look like it, but I could put on some miles. I could put on some shoes and run some miles. I'm gonna start doing push-ups and lifting some weights again. Just trying to get myself as healthy as I can possibly be. So by this time next year, the gift that I truly want to give myself when I'm 26 is just a healthy me. That's what Sober October is all about. It's just to set the foundation to where I can be a better me in the future. Whether it's next year, whether it's 2 years from now, I just want this to be the moment where everything changed, and I want to document it. So this is what this is all going to be about. But with that being said, thank you all for watching the video. I can't wait to see how this affects me, for better or for worse, at least for this first month. And yeah, expect to see me in 4 days, because I'm gonna do it from the first to the fifth to the fifth to the 10th. So once we get to the fifth, it'll truly be every 5 days. You'll see my my transformation, and just I'll be giving uh, updates on my status. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I truly appreciate it. And I am extremely nervous and extremely excited to start all of this. I hope you all have a good day, and yeah, thanks for watching.